Okay, so I want you to imagine something. Imagine a world where the air smells like damp earth and, well, pure potential. A world where your money isn't some cold, hard metal coin, but something that's actually alive. Something that pulses with this soft sapphire light. This is the world of Aethelgard, where the entire concept of money gets flipped on its head. So let's dive in and take a look at this absolutely fascinating economy.
And this single sentence, right here, from a character named ledger botanist Alara Vance, well, it's pretty much the bedrock of their entire society. I mean, think about it. It's such a radical idea, and it completely challenges everything we think we know about value. The whole idea is that money, just like any living thing, has a purpose that goes way beyond just sitting in a vault.
And that brings us to the one fundamental question that really unlocks this entire system. Seriously, what if the money in your pocket had an expiration date? What would you do differently if your savings could literally sprout into mushrooms or crystallize into life-saving medicine? It's a wild thought, right?
Well, in Aethelgard, this isn't just some thought experiment, it's their reality. Their system, called the Bio Standard, uses currency that's literally biological, and it's designed to decay or transform if you just hoard it. So what does that do? It basically stops the wealthy from just locking away their fortunes. It creates this kind of perpetual motion machine for the entire economy. You know, in our world, there's actually a similar concept called demurrage. It's like a tax for holding on to money. But here, it's a feature, not a bug.
So the way this system is designed, it forces wealth to constantly circulate. It's simple. You have to spend it, trade it, or invest it before it changes into something else. And this creates what economists call an incredibly high velocity of money. It means value is always moving, always creating new opportunities, and it's never ever allowed to just stagnate in the hands of a few people.
So, how does this actually work in practice? Well, the whole system is structured into 3 different tiers, and each one has its own specific purpose. And get this, its own unique beneficial transformation if you don't use it in time. Okay, and this is where the genius of the system really shines. It takes something that's usually an economic negative, hoarding money, and turns it into a direct social positive. So, you've got your everyday copper, which is Lumina Spores. If you don't spend it, it grows into food for the hungry. Then there's the Silver, Aurelian Nectar, used for bigger transactions. If you hoard that, it becomes public medicine, a broad-spectrum antibiotic. And the big one, the high-value Gold Heartwood Cuttings, that grows into a tree that cleans up the environment. So hoarding wealth automatically creates social good. It's an absolutely ingenious design.
But of course, a system this radical, not everyone is going to love it. And that's where we meet our antagonist, Silas Thorne. He's this big industrialist, right? He wants to build massive empires, and to do that, he believes he needs a totally different kind of wealth. He wants something permanent, something cold, something, well, dead. He wants good old-fashioned gold.
And this really sets up the 2 opposing worldviews at the heart of the whole conflict. On one side, you have Alara, arguing that when money is alive, society thrives. It stops that infinite pileup of power that always leads to tyranny. But Thorne? He fires back that for real progress, for things like railways and steel mills, capital has to be permanent, and power, in his mind, should be forever.
Yeah, but Thorne isn't just planning to win some political debate. He decides he's going to prove his point by force, so he launches this absolutely devastating attack, not on an army, but on the currency itself, the very lifeblood that holds Aethelgard together, and it plunges the city into total, absolute chaos.
All of a sudden, alarm bells start ringing across the entire city. But it's not for a fire, it's not for an invasion, it's for an economic meltdown. The living currency itself is dying.
And you can just feel the sheer panic ripping through the streets. There's this one scene where a merchant just screams as his liquid silver currency, the Aurelian Nectar, it just starts bubbling and turning rancid, and it's literally eating its way through the glass bottle it's in. This isn't some abstract number on a stock market ticker. This is a terrifying, tangible collapse happening right in front of people.
You've got millions of people just watching in horror as their entire life savings turn to this necrotic gray ash and foul-smelling sludge, right there in their hands. I mean, the very foundation of their security is just dissolving before their very eyes.
And the cause? It's not some natural plague. Oh no. Alara discovers the truth when she looks under her microscope. It's industrial sabotage. Thorne has taken ferric cyanide, which is a chemical byproduct from his own steel mills, and weaponized it as this microscopic, aerosolized poison. He didn't just attack the economy, he murdered it, all to make way for his own system.
But there is a glimmer of hope. Buried away in these ancient texts is the legend of something called the Mother Root, a single, massive, living organism deep beneath the city that acts as the genetic anchor for the entire biostandard. It's basically a mythical failsafe, a Control-Alt-Delete that could reboot the whole system.
So Alara comes up with this incredibly high-stakes plan. It's a total race against time. First, she's got to journey deep down into the Undercity to even find this Mother Root. Then she has to confront Thorne and his goons who are already there trying to destroy it. After that, she needs to perform this delicate graft, placing a pure heartwood cutting right into its core. And finally, if everything works, that will trigger something called the Genesis Pulse and reboot the entire biological economy.
And at the climax of the story, she does it. She succeeds. The second she grafts that pure heartwood cutting into the Mother Root, it unleashes this massive, bone-rattling thump. A shockwave of pure, visible, emerald green energy just explodes outwards. It purifies the water, it neutralizes Thorne's poison, and it rushes up through the fairy soil of the city itself.
So what happens next? Well, the Genesis Pulse is swift, and it is absolute. And here's the amazing part. It doesn't just restore the currency, it actually inoculates it against the poison, making it stronger than it was before. Thorne's attack, in the end, it completely fails. And not because he was outfought with weapons, but because the living system he tried to kill was just fundamentally more resilient.
So let's just break down the aftermath. The biocurrency is back, and it's stronger than ever. Thorne's gold coins, they're basically useless trinkets now because nobody will accept them. They have no agreed-upon value. You even have this merchant with a surplus of the new currency, and he can't spend it fast enough. So what does he do? He throws a giant public feast for the city's workers. The point is, the system didn't just survive the attack. Its core principles were actually reinforced and proven right. And this idea right here becomes the new mantra of the restored Aethelgard, because it was just proven true in the most dramatic way imaginable. The whole concept that sharing wealth is what creates growth, while hoarding it only leads to rot and decay, well, that's no longer just a philosophy for them. It's a demonstrated, undeniable fact.
And all of this really leaves us with a final, pretty deep thought. This is a fictional story, obviously, but it uses this fantastic premise to ask a very, very real question, one that echoes our own modern debates about things like inflation and wealth inequality. What is the true purpose of wealth? Is it just to be accumulated forever, building these static empires of concentrated power? Or is it meant to be a dynamic tool, a living current that flows through society to feed, to heal, and to build a better world for everyone? It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Please like and subscribe.